Ladies and gentlemen, chapter 10 is out and hopefully you have played it because it was incredible. It took place inside of a mall, which was also one of the predictions, so it feels really good when you can predict something. And even if you just have a theory or a thought, a lot of you guys also thought of mall, so I'm almost assuming whenever the mall came out, I'm sure you smiled. But in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the chapter 10 secrets, and then we'll talk about chapter 11 at a later point. But what we're going to be doing now is covering up the secrets that we found in Piggy chapter 10, the mall. Also, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, remember to leave a like and share it, and also feel free to subscribe for more. And if you also want to stay up to date with the latest Piggy news and just gameplay in general, especially if you want to know about chapter 11, do make sure you are subscribed. And if you want to show your further support to the channel, you can always use star code BIGB2 when purchasing Robux. But with that being said, let's get straight into all the secrets we found in Piggy chapter 10, the mall. So the map was amazing. The map visual wise, the map mechanical wise, it was just really good. It was a lot of fun, a lot of things to do. I can definitely tell that the bar has raised since actually I think chapter 9, I would say, just the last chapter in a way. Although the carnival was really good, and I also think that's one of the fan favorites. Whenever I join just public, it's literally always carnival or always the house. But however, chapter 9 turned out to be extremely well, which took place in the city. So I'll talk a little bit about chapter 9 and how we actually got to chapter 10, just to catch you up to speed. And again, I really hope you have caught up with the series. If you have not, we have a full playlist on the channel where you can actually catch up with the series. So in chapter 9, we learned a lot, okay? We learned a lot that, you know, we go to this city now. We also know that there was a mystery character behind the dumpster. And the one cool thing about that at the end of chapter 9, this mystery character, I believe our very first prediction video on the dumpster, the theory did kind of change because of the new characters we got, like that was not infected. But our very first prediction and what we were really strongly feeling was that this character behind the dumpster was George. And it turns out this character turned out to be George. So I'm really, really happy about that one. So yeah, we kind of make it to the mall now with Zizzy, and you get here and it's kind of like, okay, you know, we need to find that person, whoever they are, basically. So basically your whole job now with Zizzy is to, you know, you track down the person that ran away from the dumpster and you make it to the mall. And it was kind of confusing too, like, why would they hide in the mall? So yeah, there we have it. And there's some notes around the map too, which I will also read off. They're a little bit hard to read, so hopefully I did get everything right. And I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback on these notes. I have some theories I'm also working on for chapter 11 already. So again, they're going to be quite awesome. And again, I would love to hear your theories and feedback on them too. It's going to be great, and I really look forward to it. So there was a note inside of here. So we'll go over all the notes. We'll talk about the little things we actually saw as well in chapter 10 that was also just quite cool. And yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. So yeah, let's start off with this very first note that we have, which this note says, "She broke out, but she's somewhere. We need to find her and gather supporters." So this is this note. I'm not sure who has written this note. It wasn't signed by TSP, but however, it could be that this note is pertaining to Mrs. P. I feel like Mrs. P has been the one that's kind of been also on the loose, and not really, it's like a person you just know that's out there that you haven't actually really caught up to. And being the fact that we actually saw Mrs. P in chapter 9, it does make me think that she broke out and is just now kind of free in a way, or just trying to stay safe until all this blows over. Or do you think this note is talking about Bunny? Really tough to think about. Maybe what happened is let's say Bunny got captured, and then they actually, you know, Bunny now broke out. So we'll see. We'll have some more theories to also cover up as well with that. So not really sure how to take this note. I would really love to know what you guys think about this one. And then we can elaborate that more when we're talking about chapter 11. So note 2, we also found, which says, "Don't trust the S." And then you can kind of see it looks like an I and then ... I have some really cool theories on what this might possibly be, but that was another note that we saw in the chapter. So let me know what you guys think of that too. I'll be sure to also put some comments in the video as well from what you guys suggest, probably in the first prediction video for chapter 11. Then we have another note that we saw, and it goes, "We can take advantage of the situation going on for our own plan. Thanks, Mr. P." So we do know, and this was signed by TSP. So we do know that TSP appears to be evil. And again, maybe they are framing Mr. P as we actually thought and predicted. So that could be a possible thing right now. And it's showing signs that TSP is evil. I think we had that feeling in the carnival as well. That's when we first got introduced to this TSP person writing the notes, which we tend to think that TSP stands for the super potato, but a lot of people are thinking like the safe place as well. So those are my top two. I'm still trying to stick with the super potato because it seems like it's a person actually doing this instead of an actual place. But we have like the safe place and we have the super potato. So if you think it is a safe place, it could possibly be. But if you think it's a super potato, then I'm with you on that one. So I'm thinking it is the super potato. Then we have another note that says, I'm scared. Everyone is acting scary. I'm gonna find some food and hide. So that's something there that we need to also think about too, is that who was this note written by? Now I'm thinking that this note was possibly written by George. I mean, Bunny actually knows it. Let's say if this note was written by Bunny, for an example, I think Bunny actually knows like everyone. I think Bunny is really prepared already, and everyone knows that everyone is acting scary already, and I don't think Bunny would actually hide unless Bunny wasn't feeling too well. But I think this last note was written by George. And then we have some other really cool things around chapter 10 map as well, which I will talk about, which I thought was quite interesting. So we have a birdie bank, which I thought was really cool, and there's also some jailbreak references, I believe, as well in this chapter, like things like the bank vault. I don't know if it's the exact same. Also the ATMs as well, which I thought was cool. And yeah, that's like the little cross reference I believe they have with jailbreak. Now the good thing is that anyone who really predicted it was going to be a mall, or let's say an arcade, or let's say there was a bunch of predictions when it came to this, you know, even just inside of a vault. It's kind of cool the fact that we kind of got all that in one. So everyone was almost, I wouldn't say everyone was right, but we all did really good, I think, at deciding on, you know, what this map would actually narrow down to, because it is inside of a mall, there is a bank inside of here, and there's an arcade inside of here as well. Unfortunately, I didn't see the car in here. I thought there would be a car inside this mall, but this was like the perfect size, I feel like, for a map too, and it wasn't too hard, but it was a lot. I would say it is easier than the city for sure. But yeah, just a lot of fun in this, a lot of things to do, and I think it just keeps you entertained for sure. So now that we got all the notes out of the way, we have again the birdie bank, which we talked about. We also have the AA arcade. You need to get the coins and put the coins in the machine to get the key in that one. And then we also had a piggy shop where we saw some piggy mannequins, which I thought was also quite cool. Now throughout this chapter, I didn't see any type of pictures or anything like that. I didn't see any shadow figures in the windows. So let me know if there's anything like that I possibly missed. So yeah, and also again, remember the bank vault and the ATM reference to jailbreak. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So after we complete chapter 10, we make it to the end. You finally walk through the door, and guess who you see? The person behind the dumpster. So you and Zizzy are there, and you're like, show yourself. We know you've been watching us. And again, we predict that this person is cured, and that person turns out to be George Pig. So George Pig is alive and well, just very scared. And you're just like, George? And George is kind of shocked too at this moment. Like, how do you know who I am? Who are you? And George is like, has no idea what's going on. So you kind of introduce yourself and Zizzy too, and then you go on to say, well, Zizzy goes on to say, like, you know this kid? Zizzy's just too cool for her own good. And then you say, this is the person I was looking for. Why'd you run, George? And then because you are a police officer, so that's why you're looking for them. So George says that the family visited the hospital. So now we get some more clarity on exactly what happened to George. So George family went to the hospital. They came back and started acting weird and scary. So that is how. I mean, we had that prediction too. Maybe that's why George ran away and slipped away. And then George came to go look for the grandma as well, which we also thought about that too. Like, that's the reason it made sense that we would bump into George, because George probably, I can't believe we actually predicted this too. Like, George would have come to the city to the grandma, but then saw that the grandma was infected and then ran away kind of thing and hid. So George says, I came here looking for my grandma, but everyone looked scary, so I hid. And that's also why I think that the note 4 was possibly written by George, just because it references a lot of characters looking scary, and, you know, I'm gonna find food and hide and things like that. So and George was hidden probably needs food and yeah, is scared of everything that's going on and has no idea what's going on. That's why I don't think it's written by Bunny, because Bunny kind of knows what's going on. And so Zizzy goes on to say that you will be safe with us, George. So you're looking after him. And then George is like, will I see my family again? Which is a big question because George has no idea what's going on really. And then you're like, George, we'll find the person who did this. I promise. So it is our duty now to find who did this to George. Pretty much took the family away. And then after that, we get introduced to Zizzy's sisters. So it turns out Pony won't betray us just yet. But however, we did get introduced to Zizzy's sisters, and they were happy to see you guys. Happy to see Zizzy more. So they're like, Zizzy's back and she has friends, which is cool when it's, it's George and you. So their names is Z and Zuzi. And then you go on to say that this is George. Well, Zizzy says, introduces you guys to George and yourself, whoever you may be. And then they make a little joke like, you look funny. And then this is something important that Pony says, is that Pony says that Zizzy and Big B, which is me, we tracked a helicopter signal nearby. Now, if you're probably wondering like why a helicopter, well, let's take a moment and think about who was in a helicopter. And if you guys don't remember, at the end of Hospital, we go up with Bunny as well, and who leaves us there in a helicopter? Mr. P. So that's something there to take into account, that I'm assuming this is Mr. P, of course, if they're tracking this helicopter signal. So that's something we need to think about. And then you also say, Mr. P, I need to go see him. So you also know that it's Mr. P in this helicopter as well. And also during the scene, we also had Molly Mole, who was also introduced in this one. So that's another prediction that we made. Molly Mole turned out to be in this chapter, which is awesome. And then we have Giraffe as well, which we predicted that Giraffe would also make an appearance in this chapter too, which I think is amazing. So they were just kind of talking back there as well. And also how the situation is going to end in chapter 10 is that Zuzi and Z, I believe their name was, Zizzy's sisters, they're going to be looking after George, while you, Zizzy, and Pony are going to be going after Mr. P. And I'm assuming Molly Mole and Giraffe maybe they will be the guardians watching over Zizzy's sisters. Who knows exactly, but yeah, I thought that was very cool. So we now know that you guys have a group, which is going to be awesome. And yeah, Zizzy says, we'll be back, I promise, take care of George while we're gone. And then we're all like, okay, let's go stop him for once. I feel like George wants to come and stop him. I mean, he had the bat, he was ready. And those are pretty much the secrets that we see in chapter 10. If there's anything I missed, let me know down below in the comments. But to end the video, let's talk about some things we know. We know that George Pig is alive and well. We also know a little bit story about George, which Minitoon did say this chapter would reveal a lot about the plot, which it did. And yeah, we know that the parents went to the hospital, came back sick, and George kind of escaped from that. We also know that TSP is potentially evil. I would say TSP is evil. I think I'm going to stick with that. Mr. P is also kind of sliding more to the good side, but TSP is for sure evil. Also, you're in a group now, so it looks like you actually have a little bit of team. It's almost like you're gathering, a good army, I would say, in a way. So you got you, Giraffe, Molly Mole, Zizzy. That's really good. Pony. So yeah, this is looking quite good. And we also know that they are tracking a helicopter signal, which turns out to be, of course, Mr. P's helicopter. So that's something to also look forward to. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the video, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to hear your predictions on chapter 11. I'll bring you guys a video on chapter 11 soon, so make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on to know when that will be coming out. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, amazing job on chapter 10. If you did miss that, make sure to check out the previous videos down below in the description. But yeah, amazing chapter. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like and share it, and feel free to subscribe for more. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!